Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Donna Thiesel, and I'm your host of Donna's Edge Talk Show, where truth matters. You can find us on television, channel 182 on Charter Communications. We are syndicated on Abundant Television, which is found on Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire. Don't forget the podcast, thenewscasters.com, and you'll find them at Newscasters Studio. The truth really does matter there. It most certainly does. You can also send an email if you have suggestions for shows or you want to just kind of boss me around a little bit. You're the boss, so you want to know what kind of shows. You have some ideas for shows. I'll be glad to do some research. Send an email to donna@donnasedge.com. Donna@donnasedge.com. Don't forget the radio stations. Yeah, you can also find us on icradio.media. Download the apps and just go from there. And you'll be able to hear some beautiful gospel music all through the day. And we also have the show that airs there Monday through Friday. And don't forget the Football Friday at 4 with AP Stedham. He's our newscaster. But anyway, thank you so much for watching. I have a good friend with me right now. Her name is Robin Litaker. And Robin is actually running for office. And I'm very excited about this. Girl, you got that momentum on your side.
Oh, I hope so. I was saying I'm getting a little road weary, but it's a good tired, and I have met just the most amazing people across District 7, and I had some good news this weekend. One thing, the Alabama Republican Assembly has endorsed me, and
Awesome.
and in the process, they said I got more votes than any candidate in the room when they, ask everybody to vote. So I really appreciate that. I really appreciate the Republican Assembly. They are, as you know, very conservative Republicans. And so I appreciate that group tremendously. I'd rather have an endorsement like that than some fancy, you know what I mean? And then a little earlier last week, my opponent had an article in a newspaper in Huntsville. I'm sorry, I'm talking so slow. And in the article, he said that he was dropping out of the race. So I was like, woohoo. And I was just, texting people and texting the article to them and everything. And then this will help me in Congress too. I sat back for a minute and I thought, wait a minute, something doesn't smell right about this. Mm-hmm. So I just wanted to check. It's not that I doubt him. So I called Republican headquarters, and they told me that until somebody formally writes a letter to the Republican Party, that they're still in the race. So now I'm waiting for him to write an email or a letter to the Republican headquarters. And John Wall has said he's going to speak to him. It may have been something as simple as he didn't realize he had to do that. Of course, when you quit a job, you don't announce it on the radio or in the newspaper. You
wait until you go through the process.
Yeah, you go through the process, but that's okay. Hopefully he'll do the right thing. And I want people to understand he's been saying this for months. He came up to me at a Jefferson County meeting over a month ago and said, hey, I'm dropping out of the race. I'll call you Monday or Tuesday. I never heard from him, and he stayed in the race long enough that the ballots have been printed. And this is the problem. I still need people to go out and vote, because if he doesn't inform the Republican Party that he's out of the race, then his votes will be certified. And if he does, then they won't be certified. Now, the problem with it is there's some places that I have really been trying to work on getting the vote out. And one of those is Hoover, Homewood. And I've had 2 articles pulled on me that would have helped me get votes out. And they weren't pulling the articles for any reason except the fact that I am now the nominee for the Republican Party. So it's a little hard to understand. I'm hoping that he will do the right thing today and send in a letter. And because my campaign team, they were like, well, do we pull the signs up? Do we, I had started moving forward with some fundraising promises, and now we just had to put everything on hold. So I still need people to get out and vote. Whether he does the right thing or not, we need to show a good turnout. So anyway, sorry, that was a long explanation.
Well, I mean, I've got a question. I don't think I quite understand why. I mean, why would you make that announcement? Or is it to get attention? Or, I mean, I'm on the outside looking in. I don't understand how this process works.
Well, here's my thing. If he doesn't send that letter in after being told by the head of the Republican Party to send it in, then he's just pulling a big shenanigan. He has not campaigned. You know me, I don't talk about my opponents. I want to run on what I want to do in office. But this man doesn't live in District 7. He lives way up in Huntsville, which is over 5 hours from Choctaw County. I mean, and then the thing is, he can't even vote for himself. Why would you want to run in a district that you don't know? And he claims to have relatives down here and all that, all that. But I've lived in this district for over 30 years. We need a lot of help in this district, all the way from.
Let's talk about the district. How big is the district, and what counties are in the district?
Okay, well, I always say let me read them off because I don't want to overlook one. Pickens, Greene, Sumter, Hale, Lowndes County, Tuscaloosa. Now, Tuscaloosa is a partial county this go round. Jefferson, that's a partial county this go round. That's, the areas of Homewood, West Homewood, the Edgewood area where I live. Then Hoover, they've pulled in the Bluff Park, Trace Crossings area where I was a principal. So that's changed. Perry County, Dallas County, Wilcox County, Marengo County, partial Clark County, and Choctaw County. And I'm telling you, I have absolutely fallen in love with people down in the Black Belt. I mean, I've been traveling about a year now. You can't claim that you know everybody and everything, especially when you start looking at it through a different lens. And I'm looking at it through a different lens now. Whereas before, even before I ran for Public Service Commission or anything, I just looked at it as just another beautiful part of the state. But now I'm looking at the problems and how can you help solve those problems as a United States Congressperson. And I believe there are ways that we can assist the people to move forward, because it's an extremely impoverished area. I mean, you go from downtown Birmingham, West Jefferson, all the way down to Choctaw County. But I'm telling you, like last week or week before last, time's running together, I met just the most amazing man in Choctaw County. Well, I think it was Choctaw County. He has a school, a trade school, that he is going over and beyond with this trade school. He's a veteran. He can't get any help from Terry Sewell. Of course, she may call him today. I'll tell you about that in a minute. No, she won't call him. One of her staffers will. And he's doing things like there is no grocery store in York, Alabama. Did you know that? They lost their only grocery store.
Are you
Now,
kidding?
no, now I'm not talking about Dollar General. Okay, that, yeah,
People are not
I'm talking about real grocery store. You know, what are you going to say, honey? I'm going to drive 20 miles to go get a bottle of milk. I mean, you know, that's where they're being a little facetious with that, but that's where Dollar General sign, that's where that comes in. But can you imagine living in a community where you just can't go grocery shopping? So anyway, this guy, he not only has CDL licensing, he's got a tremendous number of programs. He has 16 acres of land. I don't know if I mentioned he has Veterans Administration funding. He's teaching high school seniors how to run big equipment, you know, the big farming equipment. They're going to actually have a farm. He has bought part of the old high school, the old Sumter County is where it was, Sumter County High School, and they're going to have a grocery store in there with all fresh food, and he's going to have an area where people can get food donated to them. And I loved his idea. He said, we're not going to pack food up for them. We're going to let them come in here and pick out what they need. And I mean, he has worked in a slaughterhouse, so they're going to have cattle, pigs. They have pigs now, chickens. He's going to get catfish. I mean, he is one of the most ambitious people I've ever met. And the point is, he grew up in this community. He loves this community, and he wants it to be better. You know,
he wants to give back, and people like that are awesome.
Yeah, and there are a lot of people like that. Now, you know, I'll keep on. I met a man up in Pickens County that in a meeting, towards the end of the meeting, he was, you know, big, strong guy. You could tell he had been working all day, and he stood up and he was angry. He wasn't yelling at anybody in the room or anything. And he said, you people have got to start buying things here in Pickens County. If we're going to get the tax money, you have to purchase things in Pickens County. And he went on and on and on. And he finally, his shoulders dropped, and he said, there's nothing to buy in Pickens County. And it's just, you know,
sad.
It's sad. And he came up to me afterwards, and we talked, and this is where he grew up. This is where his parents came from. This is where their parents lived. And they don't want to lose their communities. And, you know, so I do believe there are ways that federal money can enhance, even whether it's direct federal funding through programs or through a bill, and grants. And, you know, and I've told you the way I want to set the district up, I think is uniquely different, because like the other school that I went to, that has a CDL program, Terry Sewell's office called her, and I didn't really appreciate this, and said, you didn't tell us you needed anything. And then she said, the girl said something like, well, you get a email from us every month with list of grants. And I'm like, that's not really how that should work. See, in my vision is, you call our office, you tell us what your needs are, and we're getting paid the money to look for them. Now, we may need to get back on the phone with you and get your assistance. And, you know, I'm not saying the person who needs the grant is off scot-free, but put the burden on us a little bit. Put the burden on your congresswoman that you're paying good money to her and her staff to get things for you. I mean, they're not looking for a handout. And then at the end of the conversation, the woman said, "So do you need a new truck?" Why did she ask her that? Did she need a new tractor trailer? That's a little suspect to me, but yes, she does. And I told her, I said, don't do anything to put yourself, out. And she said, no, Robin, we're working to get you elected because we believe that you're in it for the right reasons. And
let me mention this, and this is just from observing you. Okay, first of all, we're friends, but another thing I've noticed out of you is you're actually out there. So if you get out there and you look at your district and you can see what the needs are, I mean, it's all you got to do is get out in your district. And it sounds like the person who's in right now is not really out there. So you can walk around and you can see what's needed. And then you can make it happen because you actually get it, because you actually understand what's needed in the district.
Yeah, and the thing is, most of them have never laid eyes on Terry Sewell. And my thing is, I've said this before on this show, you hear about Congress going on recess or break, and I'm like, you get paid like $179,000 a year. You don't deserve a recess or a break. And one of the things that made me really decide to run for this office was they went on break a few years ago, and this was when Trump was still in office, so that was more than a few years ago. And Terry Sewell got on a plane with Nancy Pelosi and the squad, and they flew to Greece, and that they were wheeling and dealing over there, and I'm like drinking fancy wine, and you're looking at me, that's not me, but I'm like,
that's on our taxpayers dime right there. We're paying for this.
Yes. Okay. I told you I
have an issue with that. I have an issue.
I am the biggest, not the biggest nerd ever, but I'm right up there. And one night, you have to really search to find spending. And one night, I found between, I think it was June and September of last year, her office spent $9,000 on office supplies. Office supplies. I'm a retired teacher.
Yeah, okay. As a retired teacher, you had to buy stuff for your classroom.
Yes.
You had to. We're talking about pencils and ink pens and stuff. How can you spend that much money?
Yeah, not even in a trying to do a commercial for Bic, but there's nothing wrong with this. It works. I mean, and to me, I did. Yeah. I think I talked about that before, but it's like, our budget, we are so in debt. And these people, they think they are, and they're Republicans that do the same thing, that think they're so entitled that what do they got? HP printer up there, and they're just printing the money away. And, they have, I think I've said the last time I looked, every child that's born today already owes the federal government $100,000.
It's incredible.
I mean, it's beyond ridiculous. So anyway, you
need to know another friend of mine, and his name is Don Brown. He's an attorney out of Charlotte, North Carolina, and he's running for U.S. Congress. And so Don's on the show a lot too. So Don is actually running on the platform of fair tax. Have you had a chance to look at that yet?
I have talked with the people, but this is kind of the push time for the March 5th primary, and I've done a couple of emails with them, and we're going to talk as soon as the primary is over.
Well, you know something? He's running on the fair tax, and he's winning because
really?
people are seeing it. People see it for what it is. You're talking about Terry Sewell, $9,000 on office supplies. We're all tired of that.
And we $300,000 on travel.
How much?
Sorry. $300,000 on travel. I'll send you the slide, because the thing is, when I find things like that, I start taking pictures of it with my phone, because there's a skinny chance you can dig back into it. I mean, the budgets, you have to scroll and scroll and scroll and scroll to find the office and the air. I mean, I'm just like, is this all by design? You know, I've had people say, well, nobody cares about that. Well,
oh, yeah, we do.
I do.
Oh, yeah, we do. Oh, yes, we care about that. We care about people overspending our money.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if I've ever told you about this. There were two men down, I think we were in Demopolis, and they were veterans. And they came up to me, and they had written Terry Sewell letters. They went to a town hall, and you have to understand, her town hall meetings, you are not allowed to speak, you know, unless it's prearranged.
But I thought the people could speak.
Apparently not. Now, look, here's, you know, I've told you, I don't want any town hall meetings. Those are just big dog and pony shows where the person stands up and I did this, I did this, I did this, and you have prearranged questions. I want to have work sessions. I mean, like a few weeks ago, I went and sat down with a group of people, and we sat there for about 2 hours and 15 minutes just talking. And I was writing as fast as I could, because I'm first to tell you, I don't know everything about everything, but I know enough to know what I don't know and who I need to surround myself with in order to make sure I do my job the way it needs to be done. And I think that's one thing with the way I want to arrange the congressional district, where I have people from every walk of life, you know, people, you know, did I tell you about I'm jumping around, the catfish import that Joe Biden.
Let's talk about that a little bit more, because that's huge.
Yeah, I mean, and no, I never saw this on the news. I just found out by accident that Joe Biden and the Commerce Department decided it would be a good idea to lower tariffs on fish coming into Mobile Bay, catfish specifically. And by doing that, they're undercutting the catfish industry in this country. And it just so happens it's like a $422 million industry, and Alabama is number 2 in the nation. Mississippi is number 1. So we already have a really hurting economy. Then we have an area of the state that is the most impoverished area of the state. And why would he do that? Why would he do that? And see, my thing is, did you hear anything from Terry Sewell? No. Tuberville and Katie Britt both spoke up about it. Now, I don't know what the outcome of it has been yet, but you better believe, and they saw this at the Alabama Republican Assembly this weekend. And this is the teacher in me, when you do something that I feel like is hurting someone I'm supposed to take care of, you better watch out. Because I mean, I will.
The mama bear comes out in you.
Yeah.
But here, we're going to have to go into a break in just a few seconds. But I wanted
Okay.
to mention this. So this happens on my watch, where Biden wants to, actually help another country instead of his own 50 United States. So if I'm the congressperson, I'm Terry Sewell. Of course, if you're part of the squad, I guess it doesn't matter. But I'm Terry Sewell. This is happening in my district. I wouldn't care if he was on my side. I wouldn't care if he was a Democrat. I'd have to say something about that. I'd have to stop that in its tracks.
Absolutely. And that's what's wrong with this country. We're so ultra divided, and people don't realize that Terry Sewell is voting. She is Joe Biden Jr. Okay.
She's the squad is what she is.
Yes,
She's the
she
squad.
is. And every single thing, the border, all of those immigrants coming in are costing people in the Black Belt because they get $2,300 a month. They get a free phone, a free ride. They're crossing back and forth. I didn't realize this. Across the border, they'll come across, get $2,300, go back, go down a little ways, and come across again. Mm-hmm. I mean, they are robbing us blind, and Joe Biden and Terry Sewell are sitting there letting it happen, just smiling and grinning. And people ask me why I don't smile that much. There's anything funny about what she's doing. And the thing is, I have every intention of tying her to every bad decision Joe Biden has made, because she is just as responsible as the squad, as Nancy Pelosi, as anyone else. I'm done with it,
Absolutely. Something, we got to go into a commercial break. Can you believe half the show is already over? Okay, so let's go ahead and cut commercial in just a few minutes. Everybody hang in there, okay?
Okay.
Twin City Used Car Sales has been serving drivers in the Northeast Alabama area for years with a quality selection of late model used cars, SUVs, and pickup trucks. On top of our extensive selection and competitive prices, we offer professional auto financing services for used car buyers of all credit levels. Whether you've just begun your search or you're ready to secure your next vehicle, at Twin City Used Car Sales, you will drive away with the vehicle of your dreams. The sales and finance staff at Twin City Used Car Sales looks forward to serving you, and you can apply for financing online before your visit to our used dealership in Gadsden, Alabama. Check us out on the web at twincityusedcars.com or go by our location at 901 First Avenue, Gadsden, Alabama. We sincerely look forward to serving you. At Lamone's Mexican Restaurant, located in Henniger, Alabama, and voted Best Mexican Restaurant of DeKalb County, Alabama 2020, we're here to serve you with authentic Mexican cuisine. Order easily online by going to lamonsmex.com or call 256-657-3999 to place your order. We're open Sunday through Thursday 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. and Friday and Saturday 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. Whether you're celebrating a cozy date night for two or a celebration for a crowd, at Lamone's you'll love our atmosphere and friendly servers. Thank you for dining with Lamone's Mexican Restaurant. At Liberty Bank, we're all about community, whether it's to help with a charity fundraiser or help families in need. Toys at Christmas or a local football team, we're here for you. You see, we realize the importance of family. Sometimes it's to build a new home or necessary home repairs. We're here for you. If you like the feel of a small town bank with all the conveniences of a big city bank, we're here to serve you. You will find us at any of our convenient locations in DeKalb, Marshall, Etowah, and Blount counties in North Alabama. You can call and speak with any of our friendly staff at 256-659-2175 or check us out on the web at libertybankal.com. And thank you for your support of our community. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
My Towels solved a problem that we've all had with towels. You go into the stores and they feel lotiony and soft, but then you get them home and they wind dry you. That's why I made My Towels. They actually work, they're soft, and they absorb. And now I'm excited to announce 2 brand new lines of My Towels. What makes them the best towels ever is they're now made with 100% long staple Shapir cotton. This is a combed ring spun cotton that makes My Towels even softer and more absorbent than ever. And now you get a 6-piece set for an amazing introductory sale price as low as $29.98. So go to mypillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code to get My Towels for only $29.98. Or you can get my designer premium line for just $20 more. Either way, you save 50% now on all My Towels. They actually work. What a concept. This offer won't last long, so please order now.
mypillow.com.
The Hatter Cafe and Country Inn is nestled in the northeast corner of Alabama the Beautiful in the delightful town of Mentone. We're located on top of scenic Lookout Mountain near Little River and DeSoto State Park and located only 5 minutes from shopping and restaurants. There is also a nearby community walking path and golf course. We welcome everyone through the doors and we are committed to outstanding service for all guests. At the Hatter Cafe and Country Inn, we invite people from all walks of life to come and get away from it all, enjoy the open spaces, treetop views, fresh, clean air, and experience Southern hospitality at its finest. We look forward to hosting you. To reserve a special event, or if you would love a special getaway at the Country Inn, you can call us at 256-634-2018. Okay, we're back. My name is Donna, and I am your host of Donna's Edge Talk Show, where truth matters. Thank you so much for watching every day, Monday through Friday from 1 to 3 p.m. Central, as I get right home with you in the afternoon. You can find us on television, channel 182 on Charter Communications, Abundant Television, found on Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire. And by the way, a special shout out to the Etowah County Chamber of Commerce. They air our show at the Chamber of Commerce every day, Monday through Friday from 1 to 3 p.m.
Oh, wow.
We definitely appreciate that. You can also find us on the podcast. That's thenewscasters.com. Murray Edwards, by the way, is also part of that group. So we've definitely, Murray, thank you so much for letting me have my podcast. I definitely appreciate that. Okay, I have a good friend, and her name is Robin Litaker, and she is running for Congress. What's the district?
It's Congressional District 7. It is one of the districts that the lines were redrawn. And it is very much within reach of a Republican this time. It's very
let me
much.
ask you a question. What is the industry? What's the biggest industry in that district?
Okay, it's one of 3 things. Well, 4 things I'm finding out. Catfish farming, cattle ranches. We have some of the biggest cattle ranches in the country.
Oh, it's that beautiful fertile land.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Agriculture. And then I'm coming to find out that the trucking industry is really big in the Black Belt. But the day-to-day living for people is what's hurting. And this is a question that I have that we will address and look into. Last year, the state of Alabama passed a bill. It started in the 300 range, where foreign countries that are hostile towards our nation cannot own property in Alabama. Well, are you familiar with that?
Yeah,
Bill?
I am.
Yeah. Well, my question, I asked Steve Marshall at a meeting, and he looked at me and went, I don't know. We need to look into it. My question is, how much of our land do they already own? And Sarah Huckabee, they in Arkansas, they passed a bill that she put in where if a foreign country like China has any hostility towards us, then they're going to have to give their land up. And there's already yeah. And you know what? I think it should go back to the original owner. And we talked about that last week when I was in Pickens County. I mean, we've got to take our country back. We've got hundreds of thousands of millions of people that have come across the border. But what I was referring to with hundreds of thousands is they're questionable. Why are they here? Why are people from China and the Middle East coming across the border in Mexico? Why is that their port of entry? I mean, to me, the only people that nobody should be coming across that border, but the ones who would, it would stand to reason that they would either live in Mexico or a South American country. But apparently they're, just pouring in. And somebody asked me about that. I'm jumping over to that topic. It's like, if you want to go in somebody's house, you don't break in the window. You come through the door. And if you want to come in this country, there's a right and wrong way to do it. And you come in the door. And if you're running across the border or sneaking across at night, I don't care who you are, you got to go back. There is no, what the left's going to say, oh, the poor women and children. And,
well, that's not what's coming over here. What I'm seeing coming over here are warrior-looking people myself. I'm not seeing the poor crying children.
And the fentanyl, the drugs, and I have talked to some law enforcement people, some in the Black Belt. People think it's not really affecting us in Alabama. They are getting van after van of illegal immigrants coming into Alabama. They're getting drugs. And folks, we need to wake up. I mean, I don't have children of my own. I have great nieces and nephews, and they're like my grandchildren. And I am worried to death about the country that we're leaving them. And they will never know the freedoms that we've had. And all these people that act like jerks, that talk about, I have the right to do this, transgender or whatever. You better be glad you live here. What do you think?
Go to the Middle East. They'll kill you there for that idea.
They'll throw you off the top of a building. Just be, to me, there's no gratitude for the fact that you have the right to speak up. But now we're in a position where we're having to teach people common sense. No, when you walk in a library, it's not okay for you to have a display with all that garbage for little children to see. That's not okay. It's not okay to substitute in the curriculum so much garbage that you're not teaching kids basic reading. And and I've told you that's one of the things I want to do with the Department of Education. Some people have misunderstood when I say I want to close it. Yeah, I want to close it. That doesn't get rid of the money, the tax money for education. That's your money. And I want that money to start in Hale County or Choctaw County or Jefferson County, Birmingham City Schools. I want it to start in the school instead of in Washington with some high-powered, well-dressed Dr. so-and-so that couldn't cut it in the classroom. And, they take a chunk out of the money and then they tell you what you have to do with It doesn't work.
It doesn't work. Let me ask Phil to do something. Phil, by my purse, there's a stack of papers, and it's about the library. Okay, so I was at a meeting. I'm just telling you, this pertains to not only schools but public libraries, which you just mentioned. There, I can't even read all the books that don't need to be there. I don't have enough time in this show. It is nuts. Yeah. Thank you, hon. Okay, so take a look at this. Look how thick this is.
Uh-huh.
This is not New York City. This is Alabama.
Yeah.
I can't. Okay. Dark Nights, The Queen, a wicked novella. We've got stuff about witchcraft all over the place. LGBTQ plus people who made history. This is by Sarah Prager, who did this. A Child Called It. And it's what you think. A Child Called It. A Clash of Steel, a complicated love story set in space. It's pages and pages of these. It's about suicide. It's about, kids need to know about suicide. They need to understand those things. But this is actually wanting kids to commit suicide.
Look, and the thing is, they think they supersede a parent's right, and they don't. And they also, see, to me, schools and libraries for little children, they are there to teach reading, math, history, civics. I could go on and on.
Well, let me ask you this. What do you think? Okay, you got a kid in school. Okay, they're in the 9th grade. Okay, here's a volume of these books. Here's a volume. Okay, Assassination Classroom, Volume 10. Assassination Classroom, Volume 12. Assassination Classroom, Volume 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. What's this all about?
What is assassination?
It's Assassination Classroom, begins with Volume 1, goes all the way. It has 21 volumes. Assassination Classroom. That's the title of it. And the author of this is Yusie, Y-U-S-I-E. The last name is spelled M-A-T-S-U-I. It's important that we have that. I mean, Being Jazz, My Life as a Transgender Teen. Jazz Jennings is the author of this one. What in the world has happened?
I'm sitting here looking up what is an assassination classroom. Apparently, it's just it is a extremely violent. And when you Google something, they try to suppress the bad in it. And this. Okay, I've got a good one. I'm going to give everybody some advice here.
Okay, if you will use DuckDuckGo.
Yeah.
DuckDuckGo is a good one. And if you'd like to maybe have a chance of winning $1 million, go to pch.com and search. I think it's search.pch.com. I may be wrong on that. But anyway, if you'll do that, you'll be able to see what you want. Brave New World, a graphic novel, Rebel Ladies Who Rocked the World. Christian the Hugging Lion. Yeah, I mean, if you will just look, if you'll go to Amazon.com, you'll be able to put a lot of these books in there. Daughters Unto Devils. That sounds like a charming one for your daughter to read. Dead End Girls. I thought school was all about grooming your children to be better citizens of the United States, not go into the dark world.
Yeah. And, my mom and dad, my father's family especially came from a very poor family in Concord, North Carolina. And school was for you to better yourself. And I don't think everybody has to go to college. After World War II, that was a parent's dream for their children to go. And my mama wanted us to go to college so bad. And that was just a dream. And now I realize it wasn't so much the college. You want your children to achieve more than you've been able to. And I taught inner city Mobile for over 10 years. And I remember one time I was collecting money for the Azalea Trail Run for our kids to run in it. And it was $7. And on the very last day, this mama came in and she had on her house coat and her bedroom shoes, and she had 2 bread bags. And she said, Miss Litaker, and she poured it out and she started counting the change out so she would have $7 for each one of her kids. And I didn't have a lot of money, but it was all I could do not to say, I got it. I'll take care of this for you.
I'm not sure.
But I knew enough to know not to do that to her, because she had given up so much and she was so proud that, and that's how I see things. I mean, I can remember back when Sound of Music came out, and the whole school went to see Sound of Music. That's how old I am. I mean, I was really young. Well, my brother and I didn't get to go. And we just begged my mom to send us. And she kept saying things like, well, that's a silly movie. We don't, she would say things like that. And she didn't let us go. And I remember there were a handful of us that walked home from school that day. And I heard her talking to one of the neighbors later. They didn't have, they didn't have the money to send us. And that was good for me. I mean, I learned something not only about my mama that day, but I learned something about life. You don't always, that was a tough lesson, but I'm real proud of the person I am now, because I have a sister with cerebral palsy. I take care of her. My family went through things like that. I know right from wrong. I'm a Christian. I'm a sinner like everybody else. I've made mistakes in life, but you know what? I have this vision and this dream that our country can be back where it was for everybody. And all this, I'm just so sick. And this teacher and me too, I'm so sick of all this name calling and divisive language, and the fact that you can't sit down and have a grown-up discussion about the economy with somebody or about anything without someone bringing up something to divide you. I'm sorry, I'm not speaking good English right now, but I think you I think you understand where I'm going. And believe me, people of District 7, my one goal above anything else is I want them to be proud that they have someone speaking up for them and taking care of them and looking out for their best interest, and somebody that will communicate with them. And, I will go to the ends of the earth trying to help a community, a group of people, an individual get what they need to have a level playing field. I'm not talking about handouts. People just want a level playing field.
Mhm.
Sorry, I can just.
Yeah, but something, another thing you bring to the table too is the way you talk about this. To me, it doesn't feel like, because here's what the Democrats and people on the left and the woke want you to they want you to think that there's no chance you can dig yourself out of the hole. That's how they want you to feel, but you're not offering that. Robin, what you're offering people is there are options. Got to work. But there are options. There are ways to get out of that ditch and to get out of that hole. I think that's all people really want. They just want someone who has walked the walk like they have, and you've walked that walk. They want to know that there's a way you can make it happen. And that's what I see you're offering there. That's all people want.
Yeah, and that above I can't say above everything else, but the people I meet, that's all they want. Even, like here in Birmingham, over on Green Springs Avenue, I may have mentioned this in another interview, they have asked for years for an elevated crosswalk so their kids aren't running across Green Springs Avenue every morning to go to school. Now, I'm going to tell you, when I was a very young teacher, I had a child that got run over and killed on Dolphin Island Parkway. And Tony James, I'll never forget Tony James. And, the thing is, some of these communities are so impoverished in the Black Belt. I know if we can either find grant money, federal program money, or something, all it's going to do is give them a level playing field, because the people that don't have running water or sewage service in Sumter County, Greene County, and their other counties, they don't want your handout. They just want a level playing field. And it just appalls me that they don't have what everybody else considers a basic service. And
something, Robin, this is a Democrat area. So if the Democrats really love the common person and they really love the poor, they really love them, they would be offering them ways to get out of that. They would be like you're doing.
Yeah, and they don't. And I don't want to say too much because I don't want the Democrats to be overly alarmed, but there are a lot of people that are sick and tired of it. Mm-hmm. And they may not typically vote Republican, but I'm going to win this office not because of the D and the R. I'm going to win this office because people are sick and tired of being ignored, and they're sick and tired of the neglect. Mm-hmm. And I will, it's like I said, I'll climb a mountain. I mean, can you imagine, Terry Sewell, there's this big $420-something million bill for Wi-Fi into the Black Belt. I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but if you can't flush a toilet,
what good is it?
Yeah.
I'm a commoner, so I'm just telling you, this is what common folks say, okay? This is what people like me say. And so I can just about imagine that. We have 1 minute left in this segment. Can you believe how fast that flew by? So what do you want to tell the folks before you leave? And how can folks donate?
And see, I have a hard time with that because I don't like asking for money, but it takes money, but it's not money for me. It's money for us.
We know that. We know.
RobinForAlabama.com. I have a WinRed account. I have 2 Facebook accounts, Robin Litaker for Congress and Robin Litaker for Alabama. And that has links to donations. I've had donations as small as $1, and those mean more to me really than anything. So yeah, we need help. I need you to get out and vote March 5th, regardless of whether the guy formally drops out of the race or not. And then come November, we're going to send a message. Mm-hmm. And I don't know where we'll have the victory party, but it will be a victory party for one day because we got to get to work. And the dress will be blue jeans and sweatshirts. I can tell you that.
Well, not my kind of party.
Yeah, absolutely. But thank you.
Robin, thank you so much for being on the show today. I want you to hang around. I've got to get you set up again in about 2 weeks.
Okay, thanks.
And also vote for Robin, okay? I know Robin. Vote for her. I'm telling you, you'll be glad you did. My name is Donna. Thank you so much for watching Donna's Edge Talk Show. Can't wait to see you next time around. You take care and have a great, great rest of the day. The only place I buy my beef is Lone Tree Ranch in Collinsville, Alabama. Their cattle is born and raised on their ranch, grass and grain fed, and you can feel confident when you serve your family and friends because their beef is all natural and no antibiotics or hormones are added. You can buy whole beef or perhaps go in with family or friends and buy half. Their customer service is number one as they take care of the delivery to their local processor and can deliver to your home for a small added fee. They also offer herd replacement heifers. I always call Lone Tree Ranch in Collinsville, Alabama for my beef specialty recipes and cookouts, and you can too. Food shortages are increasing, so buy local by calling 256-523-6462. That's 256-523-6462. Jeff McCurdy of the McCurdy Law Firm has been a public service of this area for over 10 years. McCurdy, a member of the Henniger City Council, serves as prosecutor for the town of Sylvania and was named public defender for the city of Rainsville. The McCurdy Law Firm is located at 17326 Alabama Highway 75 in Henniger to better represent his Jackson and DeKalb County clients. If you need to be represented by a true public servant with proven success, call Jeff at 256-996-8701 or send a private email to mccurdylawfirm@gmail.com. No representation is made that the legal services performed is greater than the legal services performed by other lawyers.
Are you ready?
We all wonder what tomorrow will bring, but the future lays itself at the feet of the prepared and surrenders to the will of the persistent. It's not easy, but today shapes you so you can shape tomorrow. With Northeast Alabama Community College, when the future asks if you're ready, you can answer
yes.
Begin your future at Northeast Alabama Community College.